Oscar, you ever solved a puzzle before?
Never. Am I gonna like this movie?
Oh, absolutely, because it solves them for you.
If you like looking at a puzzle going, "Ooh, not for me," and someone going, "Hey, let's figure this out by myself," you can watch. You're gonna love this movie.
Somebody being like, I don't know, you want 30 minutes of exposition about the past, and that's going to give you the word apple? Huh?
The Da Vinci Code. My name's Oscar.
My name's Carl.
This is Who Would Watch This.
Who would watch this?
Who would watch this? Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we watch a film, chat about the film, then try and figure out who would watch this.
Today we're talking about the Da Vinci Code, which currently has a 6.6 on IMDb, a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3 on Letterboxd. Oscar, what's the plot?
I'm going to add this as well. It's 2.5 hours. A murdered inside the Louvre. The clues in the Da Vinci painting leads to the discovery of a religious mystery protected by a secret society for 2,000 years, which could shake the foundations of Christianity. Believe it or not, this was not loved by Christians.
Yet still nearly sold more than the Bible.
Yeah.
So how does that
In
feel,
every
Christianity?
hotel, in the left side, the Bible, and the right side, the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown.
Both in those little pocket-sized
Oh, yeah.
versions, like ones that'd stop a bullet. Just once in a movie, I'd love them to pull it out and be like, "Don't worry, the Da Vinci Code saved me."
Oh, God, I'm burning.
Somebody's like, "Oh, thank God, Inferno saved me." Oscar, shall we go back in time to before we watched the film and we tried to predict who we thought would watch it?
Yes, please.
Rewind.
Da Vinci Code is Da Vinci Code. Carl.
An impeccable Italian accent.
Thank you. I was actually doing a joke meme, as the kids would call it.
Is that...
There's a joke where there's people say Da Vinci. It's a whole thing. It's very funny.
Adventure Time? Is that a thing?
I'm going to show you it.
Days. I don't even know how much is in one. 32. How are we supposed to know? Who painted the Mona Lisa? Mona Lisa. Yeah. Da Vinci? When did the
I do enjoy they say it in unison. The internet's a fun place.
It is a fun place.
I think I'm too old for it now. I don't get what's going on with it. I'm very confused by a lot of the things on
That's
the internet.
fun. They're fun.
I know. The main things I see through the internet now are things my dad sends me, and I'll tell you what, I don't enjoy them. I do not enjoy them.
That's a grim... The fact that, like, the whole internet, and then being pulled through, like, a 6-year-old man, and then trickled back down to you, I just don't think you'd ever enjoy anything he would... Is it like it's beyond Facebook memes? I don't know even what you'd call that.
I just assume he's making him his own. He probably just sends me Sudokus.
You're pretty much the last person to see like a meme. Any meme that comes out, you're the last person to see.
I used to be on top of it, but recently I've become quite happy because I turned off suggested content on Twitter and Instagram.
Is that nice?
Yeah, it's so good. I don't see anything that isn't something I just follow.
I'm up to date with so many things that truly break my brain.
It was getting ridiculous. I was seeing more posts suggested than anything I followed.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm like, oh, my Twitter's like, there's about 30 tweets a day now.
And yet I get no likes from you. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, yikes. Do I follow you? Oscar, have you read the Da Vinci Code?
No.
Have you seen the Da Vinci Code?
I think you forced me to watch the second one. And you said it was better than the first.
Did I force you to watch?
It wasn't it wasn't like a painful experience, but you were like, that second one's okay, and my girlfriend was like, I like the second one, and then I kind of remember the first one. I think the second one was okay, but this first one I remember is silly. So
yeah, I think the Da Vinci Code is silly bad from memory.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of it genuinely being boring and stupid,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I remember the second one's a bit more fun and energetic,
Yeah.
and so the silly things are okay because I'm like, they're gonna kill all 4 popes.
Yeah.
You know, it's a more interesting setting, the second one.
100%.
Yeah, but we should focus. We're getting too into angels and demons.
Yeah.
I apologize. We'll come for you next.
All I remember about the Da Vinci Code is a lot of one. Paul Bettany is whipping himself quite a bit.
Yeah.
The woman's Jesus. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
And not much else. I thought Hugh McGregor parachuted, but that's apparently Angels and Demons. So
yeah, what's it?
why did you pick this one, Carl? Why did you pick this?
the Da Vinci Code's a fun one because it made so much money and it's such a successful book. We basically, my tutor at uni in my writing course basically spent a full hour doing a tirade on how Dan Brown's such a terrible writer.
Yeah.
Just was triggered. I think it was like at the beginning of each class we had to go around and say what we'd been reading that week. Somebody said the Da Vinci Code and he lost it. It was just like one of those things where he's just like, cool, so now you know what not to do. And you're just like, oh no, it's like the 4th highest selling book of all time.
Teach. He learned 750 million. There's nothing more infuriating than a thing that's like broken and you study for years and it just makes a fuckload of money.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
well, what the fuck?
It's funny too because Angels and Demons was the first book and it didn't do well. But this one really connected for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's fun because then they had to go back and be like, Angels and Demons is a sequel. Yeah, what do I remember from this one? I have only ever seen this movie once because I really did hate it.
Yeah.
I disliked it with a passion, which is wild that I even went to the cinema and watched Angels and Demons and was like, I love it! It's the best film I've ever seen. Ewan McGregor parachutes.
Oh, he does. He nails it.
Oh, okay. Should we just do an analytical video about Ewan McGregor's parachuting?
I think so. We've got time.
Supernovas in the sky. Oscar, who do you think it's going to be for?
I had a little look on the Wikipedia of the controversies. Christians did not like it. Albino people did not like it. There's a big list of people that did not like it. So I'm gonna say if you're like Buddhist, this is gonna be and you love Tom Hanks, you're gonna love this little flick.
I'm gonna say if you're thinking of getting a haircut like Tom Hanks has in this film, it's a good reason to give it a second check over before taking a picture of him and showing it to the hairdresser.
Picture right here. I don't think he's ever looked worse or older.
I know. It must have been weird when you were like, oh, Tom Hanks has been cast as that guy from that big book. He'll look like Tom Hanks. That's good casting. And he comes out with a haircut like that and you're like, oh, so the protagonist was a loser the entire time.
I would have kicked him and he wouldn't have. Oh, I see. What a lame man. Carl, this took me a while to finish.
It's a long one.
This is probably
How many segments did it take you?
It was over 3 days.
Wow.
It was painful 3 days.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Let's jump into
What's a
it.
shame is we've got really long ones coming up.
Yeah.
All of the next 3 films we have, long movies.
Yeah.
Thank God, there's some shorter ones on the horizon,
Oh,
but
exactly.
we're gonna get back down to tight 80-minute bad films.
Ooh, I don't think we do past 140, honestly. Sorry, 100 minutes. Sorry, 100 minutes. We're not doing it over 100.
Yeah, I was like, what, you want to double down on this?
Yeah, a 2-hour 40. We should do every Titanic.
Every Titanic?
All the Titanics. The first one, the 2
Cartoon
animated ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good. They're good.
They're good.
They're good.
Have you seen any of them?
Sorry, no, but I've seen YouTube reviews.
Oh, and that's all that we're here for.
That is all we're here for. Okay, let's jump into it.
Okay.
The guy that I assume owns the Louvre
Yeah.
is doing a brisk walk from an albino. He's not running.
No.
It's just a brisk walk. Yet he's so out of
He's
breath.
kind of plopping.
He hasn't done a run in a long time.
No, he works at the Louvre. There's no reason to run.
No.
The art's there. You can't run away from that.
I think at some stage he gets trapped under a painting. I don't know how. I don't know why.
I don't know how he does, doesn't he? I think he slaps the side and then like Michelangelo came
He's
and
trapped
pulls it.
under it. He's in prime position to be shot. He's just on his little back like a turtle. If you were to put some Glad wrap over a turtle, that's how this guy acts. Just ready to be shot. The albino comes along.
It's Paul Bettany.
It's Paul Bettany. What do we think of Paul Bettany's look as an albino?
I think he nails it. I think it probably is offensive, as most groups were unhappy with it. I think he nails it. I think he's great at playing a certain coloured man in various roles. Vision, red, this, white. I'd love to see him as a blue man.
If he could be in... He's a perfect head for a blue man.
He'd go for a perfect head for a
Oh
blue
my
man
god.
group.
I'd pay so much money to go to Vegas to see Paul Bettany play all of the blue men.
No, I'd love to see him as Vision, this guy, and a blue man. All on drums. America, baby. Red, white, and blue.
Blue Man Group's bizarre. Anyway, in terms of being offended, do albinos?
I think they were just
look
annoyed. They were like, we're always the villain.
fair.
Yeah. I don't think they're offended.
They want
like,
Tom Hanks to albino up for the film.
They want him to play essentially like Forrest Gump as an albino.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'd work.
That could work.
That could work. So
Yeah, I don't think like I think the offense was that like he's just a freaky little man.
it's like how all of like the sub villains in all the Bonds are like people with like everyday disfigurements.
Yeah.
And people were like, you know what? It's becoming a little mean that all the villains are disfigured. Like,
I've got braces. That's fucked up. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I too have killed people with a top hat.
That's a disability? Oh, a top hat? Bit lame.
Oh, you're impaired style-wise.
That's okay to judge, honestly.
Sorry to all our listeners who wear top hats. I'm talking to you, Oscar. He's British.
We need to smack this along.
We do, but I've still got a lot to talk about this opening
'cause
sequence.
as do I.
My notes are very front loaded because I'm honing in on all the issues I have in the first 30 minutes, and then I get very confused with the next 2 hours. So let's hone in on the first 30.
So essentially, we're introduced to Tom Hanks.
We're not there yet. We're still at the murder.
Go on then.
The Louvre owner's shot.
Yeah.
And so begins what must have been about an hour to set up the puzzle.
Yeah.
Call an ambulance.
Call an ambulance.
He
Yeah.
could have called an ambulance. Also, shame on the albino. So, shame on Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Bad
The
assassin.
actor,
You don't
not-
shoot somebody in the gut and be like, an assassination gone well. People, like, it's...
Gun away, I'm gonna walk out here scot-free.
Surely he'll
the
bleed
man
to
has
death.
weeks.
What's he gonna do? Set up a National Treasure-esque hunt with his blood around the Louvre? Surely not. He'll die instantly. Does he ruin famous paintings with his blood?
I think so. He's literally like wrapped up in the Mona Lisa. He's dabbing his wounds with.
It was wild that during his fast-paced run, he was like, God, I'm sweating. Ripped a Van Gogh and patted his head clean. And was like, the sweat's gone.
Runs into like the Egypt section, starts throwing rocks and sarcophaguses at him. Like, oh God, everywhere.
What was it? The opening could have been so much better if it was like Night at the Museum-esque.
So much more fun. They go for like, let's go for the slowest run in a tiled museum. Paul Bettany is briskly walking. This man is sweating as he sprints at 3 miles per hour.
It would have been so much fun if this wasn't at the Louvre, but at the Night at the Museum.
Oh, yeah.
So one, everything's alive.
Yeah.
But two, it means that he's like running up and having to paint blood on paintings that are moving, that are like, ugh.
Yuck.
Yuck.
That's Harry Potter.
It's like the fat lady.
Yeah.
Just like,
don't do the Fibonacci sequence on my chest. With my breasts. Anyway, so pretty much he, writes the entire Fibonacci sequence.
Surely he wouldn't have... But why has he got a invisible ink? Where's he
I
get
don't
invisible
know.
ink
I don't
from?
know. I assume he pisses. So he pisses, urinates. So what he's done is he's pretty much gone, all right, I'm dying. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to scrape a star into my chest.
Yeah, as you
piss
do.
into my hand.
Yeah.
Make a little ink pen with some like hay or something.
He squids. He's like a squids.
He pisses into his pants, rolls it into a nice little pen, writes the Fibonacci sequence, and then writes P.S. Find this fucker, Tom Hanks.
It's funny that I think what happened is, I reckon he was shot. In fright, he pissed himself and went, I've got to make this work somehow.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
I'm going to pretend to I've got... He starts writing random numbers. That'll do, Fibonacci. He looks around. I think I was reading the Tom Hanks book. I'll write that down. Fucking P.S. There's almost so much piss still left. I'm going to just soak it up with some blood. I'm going to cut myself open. Just spill some blood there.
I love it because he must have run through so many phones. Past so many phones. Like, I think he's found dead with a phone on him.
Yeah. With 9-1. Just forgot the lyric.
Oh, I pissed again.
Yeah, I pissed all over my phone. It's drenched. He pours out his piss-soaked paint.
John Renew must have found him and just been like, "Oh my god, I'm not going into this crime sequence. Get me Tom Hanks."
I've written down here it's Leon the Professional. What's his name?
John Renew,
The
Renault?
French man.
Well,
The French
we
man
know
in
him from
movies.
Godzilla and the Pink Panther. Yes, he has a big career overseas, but through American entertainment, they've made a mockery of the man.
Constantly, he is the French man. That's
Yeah.
all he's allowed to be.
I know, it's one of those things where his constant direction must be just like, hey, I love how you're playing it, how you talk normally, but be Frencher.
Can you speak in more broken English? Broken French English. That's all we want from you.
Don't worry, there'll be subtitles down the bottom. Winked at him, and then he's like, there weren't subtitles, and they're like, doesn't he talk silly? He's like, I've been had at the premiere.
Pink Panther 2 again. First time, shame on them.
Second time, shame on me. Oh,
Let's get into Tom Hanks' character.
are we sure we're done with the opening?
I think we have to. Oh my god.
Don't worry, we're 18 minutes in. We can salvage this. So the albino's running after the Louvre,
Shut
man.
up about the albino. We're getting to Tom Hanks because he has one of the roguest speeches I think I've
It's an
ever
incredible
seen.
speech.
He pretty much goes, all right, guys, my main thing is like misdirecting people. What do we think about this stuff on the screen? It's like a baby. And they're like, he goes, all right, what do we all think? It's like, oh, nature, loving, nurturing. He pans out. The baby's getting stabbed.
So much of it is just like, what do we think of it? He basically is just like, look at all this racist iconography. It actually means love to other cultures.
It's like, what do you guys think of these hooded figures? Someone's like, Ku Klux Klan, racism, murder. He's like, well, pan out. That's love in Spain.
Imagine sitting in an audience and somebody's just like, look at this swastika, but if you turn it left, you can find it in Egypt.
It's actually a Buddhist symbol for love.
And then everybody applauded.
God, that's good. I'm gonna buy the book. It's just racist. It's pretty much like a swastika, and then you turn the page. Not too bad, is it?
It's like one of those ones where it's like you look at it long enough, it's an optical illusion.
Stare at the point in the middle. If you stare at it for 30 seconds, it spins.
John Renew comes in and is just like, you need to come and help with a murder case. And he's just like, I'm sorry, John, I don't know if you've realized or not, but I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know what you think I'll do. And they're like, he's pissed on himself. I'll be there in 5.
I smelt him. Let's go.
Like a sniffer dog. Tom Hanks gets his nose right to the ground and is like, I found him.
We'll talk about his hair because he's essentially gone for like, imagine a shaved Tom Hanks and then a receding hairline that starts in the middle,
They've basically
which is a
gone.
mop.
They've basically, clearly the hairstylist is like, all right, we're just going to go for you being bald. And gone halfway through and just been like, you need to be on set.
Pushes him in.
but
It's
there's
a
no
crime
makeup.
scene. It gives him quite height, though. I feel he's very much. This is probably the tallest I've ever seen Tom Hanks.
Oh my god, he's a giant in this film.
We're gonna need to explain the plot of this pretty quickly.
No, we don't, because the next sequence during this is just like Paul Bettany gets home, he strips naked
Yep.
and is like, gonna poke myself with things.
Are we cool with this? He does it quite a bit. I remember watching this as a kid, going, "What's Paul Bettany doing?" He like chains his legs. He whips himself a bunch.
Yeah.
It's because he thinks he's an angel.
Is that it?
I think so.
I don't know.
We'll get into it.
Again, I'm lost for a lot of this film.
Okay, we'll try and touch on the plot. Okay, so essentially, I don't want to tempt it. I've got kind of...
I can tell you what I think it's about.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks finds the Charlotte, a boat taken over by the Ice Age.
Yeah.
There's gunpowder still alive in it. He lights it on fire.
Yeah.
Sean Bean gets away.
I'm enthralled and I'm in.
It turns out they've got to steal the Declaration of Independence because there's a treasure map on the back. See how simple National Treasure is? Take notes,
simple.
Da Vinci Code.
So simple. This, okay, let's...
I will say this. I will say this as a compliment, and I think this is absolutely the reason this took off as a phenomenon. A mystery novel that begins with a murder at the Louvre, leaving behind riddles written in blood, is a great starting point for a mystery.
It's a hook.
It's a great hook. It's a really good setting. It almost feels like it's a shame that in terms of a smaller scope, it's not like a murder mystery set in the Louvre.
Yeah.
I get that it's a big, like, sprawling epic, but I think the big compliment I can give this film is I'm like, or the story, good hook.
Yeah.
I think it's got a good hook. Now, getting past that,
It devolves quickly because it's pretty much like, listen, what
there's
does
so many priests. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they're meeting. I don't know where they are in the context of the story.
Okay.
Alfred Molina's in this.
Okay, Doc Ock and Vision get together.
Right, that's okay. So they have a vague kiss.
Yeah, a snog.
Not even a peg.
We need to get we need to get this right. Fuck, I don't even know how to start like explaining what this is. Okay, I'm just gonna like start shouting up stuff, and you tell me what to go.
Okay, I'll tell you whether it's true or false.
Good. Doc Ock,
True.
yes, is part of the
Illuminati.
pretty much. It's called like the Deus Ex or the Deuce. It had a silly
Let's
name.
call it the Illuminati.
No, we can't do that. Literally,
Deus Ex Machina.
it's almost that.
You look at Tom Hanks in the film, frantically trying to decode your notes. You're like, what's here? Apple.
Apple.
It's actually really funny because right now Oscar's envisioning the entire solar system of the world as he tries to decode his notes.
Oh, look at Wikipedia.
You can't. No cheating.
I'm not cheating. It's my
No
notes.
cheating.
I wrote the Wikipedia entry.
Well, I want to remain clueless over here. Tom Hanks is claustrophobic.
Okay. Okay. Doc Ock is part of the Opus Doya or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They're
No,
pretty
he's got an opioid problem.
He has an opioid problem.
Yeah.
He's taking too many pills. He decides their whole thing
That's why
is
Paul Bettany looks the way he does.
he does very
many
pale,
pills.
a lot of wine.
A lot of fun. Sorry.
It's the blood of Christ. Anyway, their whole thing is like, all right, we need to make sure that everyone in the world doesn't realize what Tom Hanks is trying to figure out. By the way, Paul Bettany, you saved me from like a gunshot. You're now an angel.
Oh, yeah, that's it. But
that's-
I got confused because I thought it was Alfred Molina trying to steal the money
Yeah,
from his
I think
church.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, like I thought it was corruption.
Yeah.
And two people that were like, you're a corrupt priest.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay, good. So,
So that's their organization, the Opus Doya.
yeah.
They're like the antagonists.
Mm.
Paul Bettany works for him because they
It's fun when they're like, Paul Bettany's 16.
Fuck off.
They might as well just like put
Fuck
like
off.
a,
He's
put
not,
like a cap on him.
No, he's not.
So, he's meant to be so young in that sequence. That is
Stop
that
it.
is a flashback for sure. Like that wasn't like, look at what happened to him yesterday. That's
Aged body, just like father. It's like, oh my god. So anyway, that's Paul Bettany's thing. That's why
Yeah.
he's tied to Doc Ock, and that's
Yeah.
how he's incorporated by the evil villains.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is now set on to a mission with Sophie. They find each other at the Louvre.
Yeah. Sophie's not meant to be there.
Yeah.
She's not with anyone.
No.
She's just rocked up.
She has
because
rocked up.
she knows the man that pissed himself.
Yeah.
Very embarrassing for her.
She tried to soak up some of the piss to avoid some of the embarrassment.
She got there immediately, took one look at him and went, cremate him.
We need to burn this man ASAP.
You know what they did to Joan of Arc? Do that to him. If you can make him alive again, do
Add
that.
some loose gasoline. Let's just fucking do it right now.
Why didn't he just call what's his face? What's Tom Hanks' character in this film called again?
Langdon.
Yeah. Ugh.
Robert Langdon, I think.
Okay. He should have just called Tom.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way I'm writing down Langdon. It's Tom Hanks and Sophie.
Yeah, so anyway, she's there. Her and Tom Hanks get a little like suspicious about some stuff. So they
Yeah.
decide to go into the bathroom.
Mhm.
John Reno turns out is tracking Tom Hanks.
Yes.
And she's like, you're being tracked.
Mhm.
She knows somehow. I
Yeah.
don't know why. There's also a cute little moment here where she gets a little freaked out by wind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a bit excited that I was like, oh, is there a supernatural element to this film? There's not.
There's not.
There's not.
You'd think there would be, there's not.
Because of my memory, I was like, I haven't watched it for a while. Maybe there is a supernatural element. Shame.
No.
This would have been a lot more fun with ghosts and ghouls.
I think so. That's where Angels and Demons comes in handy.
Or an
Ewan
inferno.
McGregor is a ghost.
Anyway, so they escape the Louvre by doing something really fucking clever.
Yeah.
So clever.
So clever.
Never would have thought to do
No,
this.
neither.
Tom Hanks has got a gun in a hand. He could have been a baseballer.
Mm.
He could have been.
Well, he was a baseballer in that one film.
Oh,
He was a coach.
yes. Sorry. Oh God.
That's the good thing about jokes. They land.
Oh yeah. Oh, Bridge of Spies.
British Spies,
Yeah. So he throws the tracker
Mm-hmm.
onto a truck.
Yeah.
Pretty clever.
Pretty clever.
And then they don't leave the Louvre, and then everybody else runs out of the Louvre.
Yeah.
Here's something that'll bug me for the entire film.
Oh, go on.
Anytime these two characters choose the absolute simplest solution to evade any sort of threat, we're to applaud them like it's the smartest thing they've ever done.
I was clapping 5 times throughout this film because they nailed it, Carl. That's why. They nailed it. You say it's simple. You've seen them do it on screen. You've seen Heartthrob, Tom Hanks, and...
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany nail this. I don't think we could do this.
It's just like one of those things where they're like, oh my god, how are they going to get out of this situation? Oh, they got out of the plane quickly.
Yes.
Just when they were like, it's crazy that they don't see things that happen in front of them. You got out of the plane quickly. That's all you did. Other times it's like a bullet shell fell in a crack.
That was
so then
silly.
The door couldn't
that
close.
Was silly. That
and
was
it's that the
silly.
entire film.
It's a lot of that. I hear the thing, like, I feel like it's like Indiana Jones, like Nick Cage, National Treasure, but like it's Tom Hanks in a strange wig. So like you're not like,
hey, that's his real hair. He prepared for that hair for years.
In Philadelphia, he was like, one day I'll be able to get these locks shown.
We got the rights to that Da Vinci Code book yet? As he was shaving. Anyway, so they like evade the police. We get to find out a few things about Sophie. It's fun.
Yeah.
You're like, she's a typical French girl. She must have an interesting backstory.
Yep.
Goes to her backstory. She's just running through a field of flowers like all French little girls do. When they're walking around the Louvre to decipher things glow.
Yeah.
Was that happening for real? Or
No,
was
that's a powerful hallucinogenic. They were very high. That's the thing about Tom Hanks.
This place is scattered with cocaine
Here's
and
the
mushrooms.
Thing. He was like, fuck, I've got piss. Maybe put some drugs in the mix so I don't look weird. I don't know what this like Sherlock-esque mind palace thing that Tom Hanks does. He pretty much like envisions like things like clues. But I don't think he's ever been like shown to be like a supernatural like being.
Oh, I know, right? It should be one of those things where at the end of the movie it's revealed he is an alien. And he's like, I'll be always with you here, Jesus. And touches his little finger. Your water is now wine.
Oh my god, my entire body's pumping wine. E.T. Extraordinary Tom.
So they get into a little car chase.
Yeah.
She's going.
The stakes could not be lower.
Oh, they
it's
can't.
a mini. It's like a.
It's the tiniest car I've ever seen.
It's a smart car, and they're reversing, and they're like, "Ooh, it's got like 20 miles per hour."
Yeah.
And then they get through the.
Tom Hanks is like, "You're not gonna make it. The gap's the biggest I'd ever seen. The suspense is so low.
So low. We're minutes in, so you're like, well, they kind of need to do something.
I know, right? Anyway, so now their journey's beginning.
Yeah.
So now I think that we can sort of hop into a bit of a rhythm.
Okay.
Basically, through a lot of this film, Tom Hanks just informs really dumb facts.
Yes.
For a long periods of time.
This is pretty much like the first idea or thought that Tom Hanks has is the answer to the
Everything.
Everything. I think it works in National Treasure because it's Nicolas Cage saying it. And that's funny.
Yeah, but it's also, like, National Treasure's just a more fun...
Yeah.
Like, it's got a lighter tone.
They're running around, they're like, look under this brick. It's here.
Yeah.
The glasses. Look at the glasses. Up there. It's there.
You know what it is, though? It's the fact that during that film, him and Diane Kruger are having fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't know the answer and they have to rely on their dumb friend Riley.
Oh, we love
Riley.
Riley's the greatest.
For anyone that doesn't know Riley, he's the one that gets left behind in each Hangover film. What a career!
He made so much money.
Oh, so good. It's fun when you're not part of the wolf pack.
There's a lot of rogue... Tom Hanks's first rogue thing is pretty much like, listen, you know about the Crusades, which is like, it's a fun one for the audience because it's pretty much relying on you kind of knowing the basics of like Christianity history, but not enough.
I don't know.
So it's like, you know the Crusades? You ever heard of that word?
I've heard of the word...
Made up. Cover up the Holy Grail. And you're kind of like, all right, I think I get that.
And you're like, oh yeah, I know what the Holy Grail is. And they're like, not real, it's a woman. It's a womb.
It's a woman.
It's a fucking womb.
That is the weirdest thing. They're like, all right, up. So they got like a triangle. Are we up to that yet?
No, we're not. But we can just skip to it.
We can skip to it.
Yeah.
Okay, upwards triangle. Man, penis, phallic.
Yeah.
downward. They almost say, they're like, it's like a womb. They mean a vagina.
They're literally...
They're teetering on a vagina. They're like...
He's like, hey, look how many, look at the Last Supper. Tell me what's there. And she's like, a lot of people having the Last Supper. And Ian McKellen's just like, you're wrong. They're all vaginas.
This is like...
Everything's a
this
vagina.
This is the next like hour. It's pretty much Tom Hanks going
This
into...
room is so much of the film.
Oh, so much of the film.
Because it's all of this fucking exposition dump.
Let's go into it. Tom Hanks says the Crusades are fake. It's to cover up the Holy Grail because apparently Jesus was pregnant with Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is a famous prostitute, but it turns out she's not a prostitute. She's actually a really good woman, and she gave birth to a child of Jesus. That's what Tom Hanks
It's actually quite a feminist film.
Yeah, it is. Except when all the men rock up.
and the woman's constantly told to shut up.
Yeah, she's like, you don't know clues.
She's just sitting around. One of the big best reveals in this section is it's just like, you've been raised to solve riddles. And she's like crocking in the corner being like, oh my god, my whole upbringing was a lie. And they're like, tell me, what's 1 + 1? And she's like, a window. They're like, oh she's the one.
That's Jesus. We'll go into her, because essentially, like, Sophie, like, her pretty much like, hey, your parents died in a car crash, you were raised by this old man.
A man that owns the Louvre.
Yeah.
Or is that a different man?
Different man. Oh,
fuck
no,
off.
No, that's the right
Okay,
man. Same man, same man.
I was like, going to be like, if she's raised by 2 separate men, I mean, like, that's not in Christianity.
Listen, I don't approve of that. That's fucked up. It's not in the Bible. What is in the Bible is that a woman is Jesus. Anyway, we'll get into that later. But
we're still sitting there basically analyzing a painting where Ian McKellen's like, anyone look pregnant here?
Yeah.
She's like, no, and there's like, that one does.
Fat woman right there. She's either piling on the bread and the fish, or she's pregnant.
He's like, that person's got feminine qualities.
Yeah.
And it's just like, mate, if you haven't met a man, I'll tell you right now, I'm a man with many feminine qualities, all right? And I'm still a man.
If Da Vinci was painting me, he'd be cruel.
Oh my god. I'd be lying back on fucking Judas, being like, oh yeah, feed me another grape. Fiddle these coins. He'd be pointing, being like, you see Carl right there? That's a woman. Look at him suckling on those grapes.
Like a cock. What a woman. Anyway, yeah, so pretty much Ian McKellen's like, you know what also? You see the woman and Jesus? Why?
You know what Y means? The word Y. W-H.
Why? Why is this woman Ying Jesus? But now, combine the two, you get them embracing. This is the most, like, you know those, like, documentaries? Have you ever seen, like, Room 2 like, the Shining documentary?
No.
There's, like, one person who's, like, a film historian.
I know.
That's just like, oh, this is solid. And then there's just a bunch of kooks that just like, you put the film backwards. What do you get? Look into the sky, you see 3 faces, kind of. What are the 3 faces? They represent Jack's mentality, and Stanley Kubrick was a homosexual. And you're like, I don't know, that's right. And they intersperse it with like someone going, this is what the cans of like tomato paste mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's native land. And it's like raped on that. You're like, what the hell's going on? It's a lot of this.
People that are like, oh, listen to Dark Side of the Moon backwards, but over the top of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Believe
you
it
even
or
hear
not.
the monkeys flying.
So that's like the hour of the film. That's all we get pretty much. We then get a great scene. A lot of people betray each other as well.
There's constant betrayals. Also, during this time, Paul is killing people left, right, and center.
Yeah.
He's doing one of my absolute favorite things. Is he comes into a place. An unsuspecting victim is like, you seem like a nice, normal man. I'll trust you. And he's like, cool, I'm going to start breaking shit.
Yeah.
As soon as he horrifically murders somebody, he just grabs their hand and is like, shall we pray? And like kneels down to like a bleeding victim and is like, let's have fun with this. Come on, you're gonna God, you'll love it.
He's having fun, he's having cheekiness.
And anyway, so they get to Ian McKellen's place.
Yeah.
That whole scene that we just talked about transpires.
Yeah.
Before they get in, there's a really elongated, annoying bit about like, do you want tea or coffee?
It's long. It's long.
It's really fucking
Does
long.
it have a point? No. It's a long scene. It doesn't land. Dare I say I want to watch it on repeat for quite.
I think
a
we could
few hours.
unpack a lot of it because I actually think this is when you realize she is the Holy Grail.
No, she's Jesus. The Holy
Isn't
Grail.
the Grail?
No. Did you watch the film?
No.
She's Jesus, and the Holy Grail is actually
Is
the
the
tomb
womb?
of Mary Magdalene, which is under the Louvre.
The tomb was
Tom
the
Hanks
Grail?
is Jesus.
I thought
Paul Bettany's the devil, but also heaven.
I thought she
Ian McKellen's the apple.
Let's Oh god, I do love this whole one of those things that's like just hilarious through this film is it's just like all the way through it. What's the overarching villain's name? Like the Keymaster or something
the
like
teacher,
that?
the teacher.
The teacher. that
Which
comes-
is that Duck Ock? Is that?
No. The teacher was what's it called? Ian McKellen.
Oh, gotcha.
But they're entirely just like, we're funded by the teacher. It's gonna have to go for the teacher. The teacher is obsessed with the history of the Holy Grail.
yeah.
And minutes later, Tom Hanks is just like, "Oh, we're gonna go meet we're gonna go meet Ian McKellen."
I've got a friend.
He
He's
loves the Holy Grail.
Oh, it's like a porn. You ever seen like Porn Shop, that show? It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I got a great friend. He loves the Holy Grail. Let's go see if we can evaluate how much the Holy Grail costs.
It's one of those.
It's the worst reveal ever, isn't it? It's
Oh,
just like
he's a-
because then he goes like they betray him.
Yeah.
Him and his driver go off to the edge and go, haha, we beat them. The driver's like talking to the camera. It's
Yeah.
like, how could you,
The-
Ian? I died beforehand.
Oh, it's one of the best things because the driver has to pretend to be the teacher to convince Paul Bettany. It means he has to give him a peck on the lips.
Yeah.
It's like, you're done well. And then he's immediately poisoned, and the way they reveal it, a crutch touches the ground, and then another crutch, and then it pans up. Ian McKellen was the killer
Yeah.
all along. This is one of those things where I'm like, he's the only suspect.
With the money, the funds, so many things. We haven't been shown anybody. He's like the scene beforehand. He's chucked in a car. Anyway, Tom Hanks and Sophie have got.
Oh, they fucking fly away. Let's just go. They're now on the other side of the country.
But they have a cryptic. They've got this like code. It needs a
Yeah.
5-pin. Tom Hanks says, "Man, this 5-word thing has 1.26 million entries or something bullshit like that." No, it doesn't. There's obviously a word. I feel like we could crack. It's like a Wordle.
It is.
essentially.
It's a. You know what? It's easier than a Wordle.
Yeah.
You know what? Had this been a Quirtle?
Yeah.
4 Wordles at once.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
He's like Spike. No.
Does it break if you guess wrong, or can you?
No. So I think this I think would have been more. So basically, it's like if it's dropped or forced open,
Yes.
it inks itself.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? Mirrors that guy pissing himself in
Yeah.
the Louvre.
That's the thing about this. Ron Howard's a genius.
He's a
Yeah.
genius. You seen Solo?
Oh, I wanted to.
You seen Hillbilly Elegy? Basically to crack. I think it would have been more fun if it's like you've only got so many guesses.
Yeah.
But also it's like they don't know how many guesses have already been had because it's such an old
Yeah.
thing, right? So it's 26 to the power of 5, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Which is how many? Is that the number that they said?
I always like doing maths in movies, which sounds like the lamest thing I've ever said. But I just think it's fun because they normally get it wrong quite often.
I know. It's the same thing when they're just like, we're going to have to hold our breath, and I like to hold my breath during the film and be
Yeah.
like, could I have survived this? It's always a no.
It's always a big.
It's
no.
always a no. I breathe immediately. I accidentally go, through my nose. I'm going to drown.
I had a little bit though. 26.
If it turns out you're not using a calculator but just doing today's Wordle, I'm going to be very upset.
I'm doing the Wordle. It's 12 million combos.
Right, okay. So, 12 million combinations.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure if there's a computer system you could punch that into with...
Five-letter
all the
words.
a five-letter
words.
And it would remove all of the words that aren't words.
Yeah.
And I reckon you're probably only left with like 2,000 words.
Here's the thing as well. Also, Bible words. Because,
Yeah.
like, you're going to figure
Isn't
out...
the apple like the opening line? It's like...
Definitely not the opening lines of the
No,
Bible.
it is. It's like, and on the 5th day, God fucked an apple.
Well, yeah, what was the 4th, 3rd, 5th, 2nd, and 1st day? First day, he was foreplay that.
Isn't that
apple.
because... Isn't
He
that why
was
they call it
teasing the apple.
Friday? Because he fucked an apple.
He fucked an apple.
A
yeah.
fried apple pie, actually,
Yeah.
from McDonald's.
Here's the thing. God's a big fan of...
He loves a Happy Meal.
I was say he loves American Pie.
Ugh.
Moving on. Fucking
Oh,
hell.
look, okay, let's just get to the end of the film.
Yeah. What do you think?
John Renault's like, I've been had. It turns out Alfred Molina knew Paul Bettany was the one killing everyone,
Yeah.
but was like, you know what? Really, it's Robert. So you should chase down Robert.
Yeah.
Because you're a part of the Illuminati as well.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but you used me. This is one of the other things that's like, if you remove Paul Bettany from the film, his character, apart from initiating the first murder,
Yeah.
there's no point for him.
No point. And I was thinking that because essentially him.
It's an awful climax. I think
is.
that's one of the big things of this movie.
That's
is
the
that
thing with the climax.
it's an awful climax.
It's 2 hours 30 at like 1 hour 30, 40. Paul Bettany and Alfred Molina die.
Yeah.
And then you're just left with Tom Hanks and Sophie. And Ian McKellen's arrested. So then you have 40 minutes of Tom Hanks and Sophie going, well, we've got no obstacles. Should we just take our time?
There's now no conflict, threat, or time, like, pressure.
Sorry, another thing I do love. I don't know if they continue this in the other films, but essentially Tom Hanks has established that he's claustrophobic. And it is the most unhinged backstory I've ever seen in my life. Pretty much as a child, he fell in a well. And that's it. And he's afraid. And essentially that's like his like way of like, you know, I'm a science man, but in that well, I prayed to Jesus. And well, Jesus delivered. Did a small dog save him, do we think?
Sorry, yeah, Lassie was like, is a genius man trapped in a well? What's that?
What's that, Lassie? Tom Hanks is stuck in a well? Oh.
It was actually in Australia, so it was Skippy that went...
No wells here, just billabongs.
Is he dying of heat in the desert, Skippy? Yeah, look, they get to the end. So much of it just hints on like figuring out that the word's apple to this little combination.
Yeah,
thing.
they figure out that thing's apple. They also figure out that Sir Isaac Newton. There's a lot of this film that's like, listen, we know you guys don't do much of history. Here's the points. Jesus and Sir Isaac Newton. You know them? Great. They go to Sir Isaac Newton's tomb, which is crazy that like they go downstairs and it's just all the answers to everything.
Yeah.
Like in books upon books. Did no one find this?
I don't know, especially because all it is hidden under a carpet.
Yeah.
I'm like, somebody would have put the carpet down.
Yeah.
Everything looks well cleaned. I guess there's the cult that's there. It's one of those fun things. So basically at the end, after everything's tied up just before, and there's still so long left.
So long left.
They go to a church out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
They get there, they go to the bottom. The guy that owns the church recognizes her and is like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ. Jesus Christ.
And I hated it. I thought it was the absolute rudest thing. The guy's like, we're closing. Tom Hanks is like, well, be a minute. Puts a penny in a jar and walks down. I'd be like, you're putting a fucking note in that collections box if you're going downstairs,
A gold coin does not take up 50. My time is not worth a gold coin.
I reckon I'd open it up. Turns out he's just putting a paper clip. It's just got the sound of a cling. I'd be like, God, he's a smart one. It's a man that's had a lot of time to think when trapped in a well as a child.
Hour 8, you're thinking, all right, let's say I need a coin-based replacement. What am I using? A paperclip? Too light. Maybe an arcade token.
This is what they talk about on the plane in the downtime. It's just like, you ever been in a situation where you needed to give a gold coin, but you didn't have one or didn't want to give one? That's why I carry these. It just puts in a big sack of sounds.
Useless these are. They're just random tokens I've found around the place.
Takes out a phone. This is my SoundCloud. It's sounds of coins dropping. It's free for anyone to use.
Whenever I go on a bus and I need to tap my card, I play this sound, free bus travel. You would not believe the money I've saved. I could write a book with this. And I did. In the middle of his book, he's got just here's some handy tips to you guys for just discovering the world.
Here's what you want to do. Don't have your phone hanging out of your pocket in France. Put it away. Tuck it down a bit more.
But make sure you can access the sound bites, because that's really where the real money can be.
No, so anyway, now that the priest has recognized Jesus' return, he starts just letting random people into the church.
Yeah.
Now, in my head, here's what this is. A man and a woman have rocked up to a church.
Uh-huh.
They've gone downstairs. This guy's gone, hey, we're actually closing. Then a bunch of men are just arriving. He closes the door and locks it. An orgy's about to happen, right?
Oh, well, I mean, you're not wrong, because essentially Sophie's the reason why she never talked to, like, we turn out is her grandfather, but it actually is, like, the Grand Master of these wizards or something. She saw them having an orgy, so it's not off the table that an orgy is about to happen.
Yeah. I thought it was a weird thing to include.
I thought it was weird Tom Hanks took his pants off immediately. I thought it was weird.
He's like,
he was
we're not into this?
Okay, well, he puts his wig back on.
He's like, I shaved off the front half of my hair for this.
I like the poster does cover up the hairline. Like,
Oh my god, they did not want people to know he looked like that the entire film. If you saw I reckon this movie would have made about $100 million less if his actual haircut was on the front poster.
Anyway, they don't have an orgy.
I know, much to my disappointment,
I know.
I too had my pants off. I was like, I think we know where this is going. That's why there's 40 minutes left in the film, because this is the fun part.
This is the heat. So yeah, pretty much, Tom Hanks, it's weird. It's like there's 10 minutes to go. We found out Sophie's Jesus. Tom Hanks like, well, I guess I better just go home. And then he goes to his hotel.
She just stays.
Yeah.
She's like, I guess I live here now. Are you taking the car?
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, I was going to get I'll take the car.
Well, no, she's like, I would like the car.
Okay.
And he's like, well, how am I? She's like, you're a smart man.
You're a smart man.
He immediately walks into a well.
Oh,
no! Shit.
His coin purse weigh him down.
Sophie's just like, oh god, I can hear his prayers. Do I answer them? Nah.
I'll turn the water to wine. That'll keep entertained for a bit.
Well, did we like the joke where she went to walk on water?
Did she do that?
Yeah, she goes, oh, nah, maybe I'll have better luck with the wine.
That's funny. It's what I would do. I can't fault it. It's what we'd do, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tom Hanks then has this weird 10 minutes where he goes back to his hotel, starts reading his book. I can only assume to, like, have a wank. It's strange. But then he realizes that he rereads his words. He's like, you know what? I think I've accidentally written that the Holy Grail actually might be in the Louvre, which is very painful because we were just in the Louvre. Like the first chapter starts in the Louvre. And yeah, the Holy Grail / Mary Magdalene is under the Louvre.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Hated it.
Hated it.
It was one of those things where you're just like, isn't it funny? You didn't have to go anywhere.
No. It's the annoying hero's journey where it's like, and they're back at the same place. Not physically. I hate that. They're
it's one of those things
back at
that the guy dying could have used his blood to write, it's to the left.
Yeah. I didn't piss myself. It's to the left of the Louvre. It's under there. Move on.
I apologize. My dinner had a lot of asparagus.
Yeah.
Its smell is that, not the fact that the blood and piss is mixed with semen.
Yep. There's a lot of fluids on the floor. Some are mine, some are yours.
How does John Renew walk in and go, Ian McKellen's the villain?
Oh, I don't know. Because I think they figure out he's the villain. So that's an explanation, right? That's a good explanation. He's the villain. I think there's a reason why. Do you want an answer?
No.
Okay, we're moving on. Do you have any more notes? There's a lot more to this film. I'm confused, but not like in a fun way. Like, it's just like you need to like be listening. I think that's too much of this film to be asking.
I don't know, I've just got a thing that's just like Tom Hanks cuts himself while shaving and does the most irrational thing I've ever seen, which is he rushes to read his own novel.
That's what I was saying. It was like, is he having a wank? It's very strange.
Yeah.
He's like, God, I gotta get this out. I've got the blood, I just need the semen and some piss, and I'm good to go.
Oh, another riddle's ready to go. Oscar, who would watch The Da Vinci Code?
I don't know, really, because, like, here's the thing. People, like, constantly critics, like, this is a bad book. It keeps selling. And then they did the exact same thing for this movie. They're like, this is a bad movie. And it made $760 million.
Is the Da Vinci Code like Avatar, where it's a weird anomaly that everybody was like, oh, I read that?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Because I feel like, who are you meeting that's like, what's the best book you've ever read? Oh, The Da Vinci Code.
But is it like a kind of like a meme? Like it's kind of like, oh, you shouldn't be reading that. Anyone that's in the literary like thing is like, that's a shit movie.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people actually just kind of read it like, yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be fun for those people that are like, I was Dan Brown day one. I loved Angels and Demons, and none of you read it.
This film, it's very boring.
Yeah.
For the 2.5
Dull.
hours. Yeah.
Without suspense.
Yeah.
There's no real action. conflict moves at such a glacial pace.
Mm.
It's weird that they've just got Paul Bettany hostage for a while in the film.
Yeah, but then he escapes.
Well,
pretty
they just
quickly.
let him escape.
They do, and then he immediately comes back to them. I don't know why they
Yeah, I
released
know,
him.
right? He has such a uninteresting death.
He just kills Alfred.
No, he just accidentally maims him in the shoulder.
No, exactly. I mean, the cop's like, "Hey, hands down." He's like, because he tries to commit suicide. He goes,
Yeah.
"That's a sin. I know. I'll try and shoot the cops. They'll kill me. Not a sin. I
Mm.
go to heaven."
Yeah, powerful.
Powerful.
As for well, you didn't say. Who do you think it's for?
I
Who
think
would watch this?
Ron Howard watches it every day. Goes, "Fuck, 760 million. You're pissing me. I couldn't sell Star Wars for that."
It's true. His Star Wars film didn't even make as much as the Da Vinci Code. I
No.
don't think it even made as much as Angels and Demons.
No, Angels and Demons. Angels and Demons didn't make too much. It made like 200 million.
No, it made like 500.
Fuck off, really?
It's the Inferno was the
Oh,
one that had
Inferno,
a
yeah.
really deep,
Yeah.
steep drop off. Yeah, crazy.
Crazy This is $1 billion in
A fan franchise.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
It starts off so slow. I think the Angel Demon is kind of now watching this one. I
Yeah.
get why you guys say the Angel Demons is good.
it's just fun. Like
Yeah.
it's way more fun.
Yeah.
It's just like cool. We need to elect a new pope. Except the 4 people that are being elected for a pope are getting killed around the
Yeah.
city, and we've only got till midnight to elect one. And yet we don't know where any of them are, and now we have to stall. And
Yeah.
only one man can decode where they are.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, way more fun. But it's also weird because it also it follows this very similar formula of like the assassin in that is also killed like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, they have to have like 40 minutes of like, all right, let's just slowly explain everything that just happened.
Yeah. It also seems less, like, at least from memory, I have not watched Angels and Demons in a very long time, but from memory, it doesn't seem to have so much to do with history.
No, which sounds like us being dumb.
Look,
but it's not.
and
it's
but it
not.
is.
But it is a bit. But also the film's like, listen, we're going
Oscar, I've accidentally sat in a well. It's just, I promise I'm not an idiot. It just looks so glistening.
I thought I saw a penny at the bottom. I thought I could reach it. Turns out very long. Who would watch?
It's just paper clips.
Who would watch the Da Vinci Code?
Who do I think would watch the Da Vinci Code?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you love Angels and Demons, maybe you jump back in time for this one. God, I don't know. I'm sure some people like this. I'm sure some people like that's a thrilling film.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me.
It is weird, isn't it? It's very slow. I feel like if you like this kind of history,
Yeah.
but don't want to really look up, if you've just started liking this history, this is a perfect film for you.
I think what's really fun is if you don't know any history, you should watch this movie and take all of it as fact.
Yeah.
You should be
Which
like,
it
oh,
is.
did you realize the you're just walking around being like, oh, has anyone actually dug up the Holy Grail from the Louvre yet?
Yeah.
And they're
Just
just like,
sitting
what do
there.
you want about? And they're like, it's just sitting there for the taking.
Yeah. We could just
Are you
get it.
talking about the ending of the Da Vinci Code? Yeah. Based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
Such a shame what happened to that albino.
Yeah. But he was a villain and therefore should be villainized.
Oh, wasn't it crazy? That guy, Alfred Molina, was kind of
Who knew the
spotlighting
Catholic Church could be bad? I just, hands up, just didn't know it could happen.
I can't look at the Last Supper the same way, knowing there's a pregnant woman on there.
Yeah, there's a woman in that painting.
There's a woman on there. Can't look at it the same way, knowing Carl is on there, just snuggling into St. Peter.
Have we answered who would watch this?
I don't know, people.
People.
What are we reviewing next week?
Well, I thought we would have a bit of a chill one. Let's just watch a beloved comedy sequel. It's Evan Almighty, baby.
Oh, wow. Can't believe they got all those animals on that boat and it only cost them $215 million to
It's
produce.
a bargain. Those guys were divas on set. Just a little mini. We're not gonna watch the film again.
Oh, God, no.
It hurt
But we'll
me.
sure as hell chat about it.
We've seen it recently. We don't want to watch it again. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.